shared this encouragement in the Tough Love Mom Squad today, and it's a message that needed to be shared here on the podcast for you because I believe September, especially right after this holiday weekend, is a big pivot point in the year, and I want you to take advantage of it. So let's dive in. Hey mama, welcome to the Tough Love Mom Podcast. I know you're here because you're ready to get consistent and finally lose that weight, and you're not afraid of a little tough love. You know what to do to lose weight, but following through on those things feels impossible. You wish you could just feel like your strong, confident self again and want to be a good example for your little ones, but you get thrown off by mom guilt and the unpredictability of motherhood. It's frustrating. Taking on your journey postpartum is hard, but it's not impossible. Hey, I'm Liz, and I've been where you are. I gained a lot of weight in my pregnancies, 90 pounds and then 60 pounds. I needed to lose that weight to take control of my health and honestly just wanted to feel like myself again. With a sustainable approach to weight loss, simple consistency, and working on my mindset, I lost it all in just over a year both times. And I'm here to help you do the same. I believe that we have an ingrained ability to figure out what we need to do, make it happen, and do it in a way that awes the world. If you're ready to stop falling off the wagon, create solid routine and healthy habits, and finally feel your best inside and out, all while enjoying dino nuggets on your salad, you are in the right place. We're about to transform your journey, my friend. Get pumped up. It is tough love time. Like I said in the intro, I shared this in the Tough Love Mom Squad. That is our Facebook group. It's a free community for the listeners of this podcast. So join if you're not in there. You can just search for the Tough Love Mom Squad on Facebook, or I linked it below in the show notes as well. But I've shared this post. I'm going to read it to you in there, and then I'm going to share a little bit more from my heart, but I want to read it to you first. So this was the encouragement for today. It always feels like Labor Day weekend is the pivot point in the year. It's the start of all of the fall and winter holidays to come, as well as a shift of routine as the seasons change and as older kids get back to school. At this point of the year, most will pivot away from what they envisioned for their journeys. It happens every year. Events, travel, holidays, routine change, colder weather, all are fact. We all experience them, but they can also all become excuses. Some will stay the course and be consistent, not necessarily as disciplined as other times in the year, but still simply doing the basics and carrying on amidst the circumstances of this point of year. Few will lean into what they envision for their journeys and turn up the notch on their discipline. It's times like these that we can set ourselves apart, not from others in a way to compare, but set ourselves apart from how we used to be. Each morning that you wake up, you are given the opportunity to regress or progress in all areas of life. You've got 117 days left of 2022. Choose to make most of those days that you progress in your journey. And I don't mean the scale or your clothes or what you see in the mirror. I'm talking about what's going on in your head. Are you making one more disciplined choice than yesterday? Are you choosing to do something small even when you don't feel like it? It's in the small moments that you make progress. The scale, the mirror, and your clothes are all just a result of the choices that you make. So make today your pivot point. The last 117 days of 2022 don't have to be a wash because of your circumstances. You choose what you do with your days. Get after it. Let's make the end of 2022 the best days yet. Now, this just kind of like flowed a lot of the times, especially when I'm outlining for episodes or writing on social media. I will just start typing and come up with what I want to say, and it's just very organic. Like, I think that's something I was gifted with, and I'm glad I get to share that with you, that I have tapped into that gift from the Lord and get to pour it out and encourage you both on social media like I used to, but also here on the podcast. And man, that just flowed out of me. That just felt like something that needed to be said, because September in general is really a pivot point. It is a time of year when a lot of people do make a lot of changes. They're really intentional. It's back to school if you have older kids. It's a time of year when there is a lot of change just seasonally, and there's a lot of change. There's just a lot of change. I don't even know why. It just is a pivot point in the year. And I think as moms, because we're so busy, it just kind of gets the best of us. And that's okay, because mentally, overall, not just this time of year, but in general, especially those first few years of motherhood, you're transitioning into a brand new role. You're relearning yourself. You're relearning how to show up in your marriage. You're relearning everything, because there's a little child involved that you're now having to provide for and keep alive and fed and happy and well, and you want to do the best for them. So it's this huge transition. And so this time of year can often go unnoticed. This pivot point in the year can get overlooked. And again, our circumstances can get the best of us. And I'm speaking from a point of having gone through this pivot point 4 times now. I had my firstborn 4 years ago. So I've gone through this 4 times. Once with 1 child and 3 times with 2 children. This is now my 3rd time going into it with 2 kids. Because the first time I had 2 under 2 and it was woo, that was something. But it got the best of me the first 2 years. These last 2 years, I've taken advantage. And so I can speak from a place of not even noticing this pivot point happening in the year and, kind of getting the best of me, going into the holidays, just eating whatever, being really chill. And yeah, January is great. It's great to have January, isn't it? January 1st, everyone starts afresh. It really is a fresh page for everyone. And I say, take advantage of it. That's great. But I truly believe, and I'm speaking now from a point of what I've done the last 2 years, is every single morning when you wake up, you have the opportunity to change. You have the opportunity to choose an entirely different path, because ultimately, when you see someone who goes from like living one way to living a completely different life, or completely changing their body composition, losing 90 pounds like I did, when you see that happen in someone's life, it's not because they said, okay, January 1st, or okay, Monday, or okay, I'm 180ing everything all at once. No, it's because each little tiny decision they make, they were intentional about. They knew that what they ate for breakfast, what they snacked on that afternoon, what they had after 9 p.m. when they weren't really hungry, but they were trying to decompress from the day. Should I just eat all the food and all the chips, or should I just go to bed because I'm actually tired? Those are the little decisions that they made, thinking about what they wanted overall and long term for their health and for their life, and not just in the, I'm going to justify it because it's October and we're coming up on the candy season, and then it'll be Thanksgiving and then Christmas, and it's just going to be all the food and festivities. They weren't trying to justify. Those people that made those choices and made those changes at this point in the year are making intentional choices day in and day out, not looking ahead to, I've got this coming up, so I'll just, it'll be a wash this week. They're thinking, right now, what can I do? If you want to listen to any encouragement kind of around that whole mindset of like, think about today and not what we've got coming. And I'll do this episode again in a few weeks about the special days left in the year, because that was a monumental, just like light bulb moment for me. And I know it's impacted a lot of you. So I just want to challenge you as we come into this pivot point of the year is, what are you going to do moment to moment? Because that's what matters. That is what counts. On Thursday, there's a really good episode about weight loss not just being about the number. And I think we'll dive a little bit more in that episode into all of this and what you should actually be focusing on. But I just want to challenge you to take this point of the year, be aware that it is a huge pivot point, and there's a shifting and a changing of seasons and of mindsets and of approaches to our health. And I just want you to be aware of that. Number one, that's why I'm doing this episode. And the second thing I want you to do is to simply decide how you're going to treat this last portion of the year. How are you going to treat your moment-to-moment decisions? Are you going to look at them and justify what you're doing because of some holiday that's like 3 weeks off? Or are you going to make a decision because it's the best interest of you, not just a couple weeks from now, but a couple years from now, a couple decades from now, because it's in your best interest for your mindset and for your consistency. How are you going to show up to those moments? Because it's in those small moments, again, that you make progress. The scale, mirror, and your clothes are just a result of the choices that you make moment by moment, year after year, decade after decade. That's how those things build up. So if you want more encouragement like this, I encourage you, because I posted this today in the Tough Love Mom Squad, so I encourage you to join the Tough Love Mom Squad on Facebook and make sure that you're on the free text list, because those mamas that are getting texts from me every single week are getting weekly encouragement like this. And it's just so much fun getting to pour into your lives, getting to chat back and forth with you there. So I want you to get going on that consistency challenge, because that's a great way to really be intentional about this portion of the year, this month. I mean, if you haven't started it, who cares? Whatever, do it for the rest of this month. I know we're a couple days in already, but simply a 30-minute walk every single day of September. That's what we're doing this month for September 2022's consistency challenge. So get in on that. Head to my Instagram because I've got the template saved there so you can hop on in with us on that. Get in the Tough Love Mom Squad, get on our text list, and be encouraged, be intentional, and go get after it. Before you go, thank you for spending this time with me on the Tough Love Mom podcast. If this episode encouraged you in any way, the number one way you can thank me is to leave a review letting me know how this show has impacted you. Then send this episode to another mom friend, or take a screenshot, post it on social media, and tag me so I can personally thank you for helping me on this journey to impact thousands of moms. I'm so grateful to be on this journey with you, sister. Until next time, get after it.